Let's begin this section with a very real truth. Most ad campaigns fail not because the ads are bad, but because they exist in isolation. You run a Google ad here, a Facebook ad there, maybe boost an Instagram post or two, but none of it is connected. There is no story, no funnel, no follow up, and as a result, you burn money, collect a few clicks, maybe get some reach, but no real results. That's the problem we are here to fix because smart paid traffic is not about running ads, it's about running integrated campaigns where your messaging, targeting, and conversion path all align. And when that happens, you don't just get clicks, you get customers who stick. Now, what does this integration mean in this context? Think of it like building a bridge, not throwing pebbles into the water. Each ad is a touch point, but together they form a journey. Your prospect sees an awareness ad, then a testimonial reel, then a limited time offer, then a retargeting banner that nudges them back. It's not chaos, it's choreography. Each step builds on the last. That's integration. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're launching a D2C brand that sells sleepwear, high quality, breathable, made for comfort. You could run one ad that says buy now and buy now, which is 20% off. Sure, some people will click, but most won't because they don't know you, they don't trust you, they don't see why this matters. Now imagine a different approach. First, you run a short video and that talks about the problem, how people are sleeping poorly, and how fabric matters. You educate. No, now, no, now ask yet, just value. Then you follow up a few days later with another ad. This one shows a customer testimonial, someone talking about how they switched to your sleepwear and now sleep better. That's social proof. Then the next ad they see, it's the product itself with a 15% launch offer and a clean CTA. And finally, if they visit but don't purchase, they get a retargeting ad, maybe with a bundle deal or a gentle reminder that the offer ends soon. Do you see the difference here? That's not random advertising, that's an integrated campaign. And the impact is exponential because each ad warms them up just a little more. Each message moves them closer, and instead of relying on one shot to make a sale, you're guiding people toward a decision. Now, here is why this matters more today than ever before. Attention is fragmented today. People are swiping, clicking, scrolling across multiple platforms all day long. If you expect one ad to stop them in their tracks and make them pull out their wallet, that's unrealistic. It can happen, yes, but it is rare. What works more consistently is showing up in different ways across different channels with consistent storytelling and smart timing. So, whether you are using Google Ads, Meta Ads, YouTube, pre roll, or even display banners, the question is never how many ads should I run? It is how does this ad fit into the larger journey? Are you introducing the product? Are you showing proof? Are you reminding? Or are you closing? And that's another key mindset shift. Not every ad needs to sell. Some ads are for awareness, some are for nurturing, some are for sealing the deal. When you try to cram everything into one creative, value, credibility, urgency, and the CTA, it often feels like rushed. But when you break it out, over multiple steps, it becomes natural, almost like a conversation. So before you even open Ads Manager, take a moment and map the full journey. Start with this. What's the awareness trigger? What problem or desire does your product solve? What content supports that? Is it a video, a carousel, a blog post? What proof can you show? Testimonials, reviews, influencer clips. Use what you have. And when do you present the offer? After trust is built, not before. And how do you follow up? Email retargeting, abandoned cart ads, reminder banners. And once you build this journey, the rest is execution. Each ad now has a role, each channel has a function, and your paid traffic system becomes much more than a bunch of disconnected clicks. It becomes an engine. All right, let's not talk about picking the right ad platforms and figuring out your budget because this is where a lot of people start second guessing everything. Should I start with Facebook or Google? Should I do video ads or stick to images? Should I spend 500 a day or 5,000 rupees? The truth is, there is no one size fits all answer. It all depends on your customer, your product, and your stage of business and your pocket as well. Now, every platform has its strength. If you're running a visual brand, let's say fashion, skincare, or food, Insta and Facebook are great for storytelling and visual content. If you're in a space where people search with intent like best protein powder or ergonomic chairs, Google search is a good place to start. YouTube works well when you need to explain something or show it in action. So, the best question to ask is, where does your customer spend time? Are they scrolling reels, watching reviews, searching for solutions? Follow that behavior. Let's take an example. Say you sell indoor plants online. People might not go to Google to search by snake plant every day, but they are likely to stop when they see a pretty home decor reel on Instagram or plant or a plant care tip on YouTube. That tells you your ads need to show up where inspiration strikes, not just where people search. But if you're selling something more solution focused, like fitness equipment or home appliances, then Google can bring in buyers who are already in the market. So do not think platform first. Think customers first. Where are they? What mindset are they in? Then choose the channels that match. Now, once we have all figured out this, let's talk about the budget. Most people think they need to spend a lot to get results, but that's not true. What you really need is a plan. In the beginning, your goal is to test, not to make profits, not to scale, just test and learn. You might spend $500 or rupees to 1,000 rupees a day testing a few different creatives. Try two headlines, try two videos, try a static post versus a short reel. The point is to see what message connects, not to sell right away. When you start seeing what's working, maybe one video gets a higher CTR or one message gets people to visit your store. Then you pause the ones that didn't work and slowly increase spend on the ones that did. Don't suddenly jump from 500 rupees a day to 5,000 rupees. Scale with control. Let the results guide your spend. Also, it helps if you break your ad budget into stages. Think of it like this: some money goes into awareness, goes into retargeting, some into conversion. That way, you know what part of the funnel is working. And if something is not working, maybe people are clicking but not buying. You can fix the right part of the journey instead of guessing. One more thing, don't run the same ad for weeks and wonder why results are dropping. People get ad fatigue. Even great ads start losing their effects if people keep seeing the same thing. So you need to refresh your creatives regularly. It doesn't have to be a full reshoot. Sometimes changing the first 3 seconds, the headline, or the format can keep it very fresh. And remember, don't just look at your return on ad spend and feel happy. ROAS can lie. A campaign might show 10,000 rupees in revenue, but if your margins are thin or your product gets returned, it's not worth it. Always ask, am I actually making money or just generating sales? There is a difference. So, let me give you a real world example of a full funnel strategy. Suppose you're launching a new skincare brand. You don't just run one ad that says 20% off, shop now. That really works. Instead, you start with a short video ad about the skin issues your product helps with something relatable and educational. Next, you show a few testimonials, maybe from real users or influencers. Then comes your product ad, a clean image, benefits, prices, and offer. Now, if someone clicks but doesn't buy, they see a reminder ad later, maybe offering free shipping or showing a before after result. And finally, once they buy, you follow up with email or ads showing related products. That's not just advertising, that's a campaign. Each step moves the customer closer from curiosity to interest to trust to action. That's how smart paid traffic works. Now, let's talk about something most people don't do properly, which is tracking the right things. You'd be surprised how many people run ads and only look at surface level numbers, clicks, likes, impressions. I am 100% sure these are the easy to measure, but they don't tell you if the ad actually worked, even by those. So the only thing that really matters is action. Did someone buy? Did they sign up? Did they add to cart? Did they come back later and make a purchase? That's what you need to measure because paid ads are not for popularity, they are for performance. And here is the thing, sometimes the performance does not show up right away. Maybe someone sees your ad today, clicks, browses around, and then leaves. But a few days later, they search your brand name, visit again, and buy. If you're only looking at the last click attribution mean, which is the last step before the purchase, you'll miss what actually influenced them. That first ad may have done well uh, in all the heavy lifting, but the final click gets all the credit. That's why you need to understand attribution. Don't rely on just one source of truth. Use tools like Google Analytics, Facebook Events Manager, or Shopify's report to get a more complete picture. It's not always perfect, but looking at blended performance across ads, search emails, and organic traffic gives you a much more clear understanding of what's working together. And here's another mistake which we need to avoid is scaling too soon. Let's say you test a few ads and one starts doing well. Your first instinct might be to throw more money at it, but don't rush. Look deeper. Is it just one audience that's responding well? Is it only working at a certain time of the day? Sometimes ads look good for 2 to 3 days but drop off after that. You want to scale based on stable performance, not a lucky spike. Now, one of the smartest things you can do is to connect your paid ads to your brand strategy because short term wins are great, but you're not just building campaigns, you're building a business. And if your ads only focus on offers and discounts, you'll constantly have to pay more and more to convince new buyers. But if your ads also build your brand, if they show what makes you different, if they share your story, if they reinforce trust, then every ad builds momentum. Every rupee you spend helps not just with conversions but with recall, loyalty, and future sales. Let me give you a clear example. Imagine you are running ads for a D2C coffee brand. If you only focus on 100 rupees off on your first order, then every new customer expects a discount. But if your first ads talk about how your beans are ethically sourced from small Indian farms, and the next ad shows how your packaging is biodegradable, and then another ad talks about the flavor profiles, now you're building a brand identity. You're not just selling coffee anymore, you're selling a story. So even if people don't buy right away, you've planted a seed. And when they do buy, they feel connected to something bigger. That kind of advertising lasts. And the best part, it actually reduces your cost per acquisition in the long run. Because when people trust your brand, they click faster, they buy quicker, they don't wait for a coupon code. That's the magic of mixing performance with positioning. One more practical tip uh, before we wrap this up, always look at post purchase behavior. Once someone buys from your ad, what happens next? Do they come back? Do they refer to a friend? Do they upgrade or add more to their cart? Your ad should not be focused only on the first sale. Smart businesses use paid traffic to acquire a customer, then use email, content, and community to keep them. That's where your real profit comes from. Not from getting one order, but from building a relationship. So, to summarize, smart ad campaigns are not just about chasing clicks or pushing out random offers, they are about building a thoughtful step by step journey. You track what matters, you test, and you learn. You scale slowly, you tell a story, and you use every ad not just to sell but to strengthen your brand. So let's pull everything together. We have covered a lot in this section. But if there is one big takeaway, it is paid ads are not a magic button. They are not some shortcut to instant success. What they can be is a powerful accelerator if they are used smartly and strategically. When you run ads in isolation, you are just throwing content into the void. But when you connect those ads into a journey, when one message leads into the next, when your offer builds on trust, When your creative flows from awareness to action, that's when the results starts to stack up. So if you're just getting started with paid traffic, don't feel like you need to do everything at once. Start small, test a few creatives, run a single funnel, watch the data, listen to what the numbers are telling you, then slowly add layers, retargeting, testimonials, offer variations, and email follow ups. It's not about running 100 ads, it's about running the right ones in the right sequence with the right expectations. And also remember, not all success looks like a conversion. Sometimes an ad that gets someone curious is doing its job even if they don't buy right away. You might have planted a seed that grows into a sale 2 weeks later. Paid traffic can drive instant action. Yes, but more importantly, it creates opportunities. It introduces people to your brand. It starts conversation. It brings people into your world. Now, let me just say this: you don't have to be a media buyer or a performance marketing expert to get this right. You just have to think like a human. Ask yourself, if I saw this ad, would I stop and care? Does this speak to a real problem? Does this feel trustworthy? That's how you will make better decisions, not just from dashboards, but from empathy. And one final mindset shift: ads don't work in isolation, and neither does your business. The people clicking on your Instagram ad, they are also reading reviews, they are watching videos, they're Googling you, they're checking out your return policy. Every touch point matters. So that is why smart ad strategy is not just about performance, it's about alignments. Your ads, your content, your product pages, your emails, they all have to tell the same story. Because when everything works together, your ads don't feel like ads anymore. They feel like a natural extension of your brand. They feel helpful, relevant, timed, just right. And that's what leads to real, repeatable success. So, if you're serious about growing through paid traffic, start by thinking integration, not random boost, not one off campaigns, but real systems that move from stranger to buyer to fan. That's how brands grow. That's how budget stops bleeding. And that's how you turn traffic into long term value. In the next section, we'll shift gears and look at what happens after the click. How do you take all this interest you have generated through organic or paid and convert it into real business outcomes? And more importantly, how you build a system where every customer interaction before, during, and after purchase works together to grow to your store. We'll get into all of that, but for now, take a moment, look at your current ad setup, and ask, is this a system or just a collection of ads? If it is the latter, you know what to do next. Last but not the least, I want to leave you with one final thought. A good ad campaign does not just sell a product, it builds momentum. It gets people curious, it starts conversation, and it opens door that you can walk through later with better content, better follow ups, and better experience. And the truth is, you won't always get it right the first time. Ads are experiments, some will flop, some will surprise you. The key is to stay curious, stay patient, and stay intentional. Every campaign teaches you something about your customer, about your messaging, about your brand, and even yourself as a marketer or a business owner. Also, do not forget that behind every click is a real person, a human being with needs, fears, hopes, and distractions. If your ad can speak to that person clearly and honestly, not like a sales pitch but like a helpful nudge, then you're already ahead of the most. So whether you're just starting with paid traffic or trying to scale what you have already built, focus on clarity, not complexity. Make it simple, make it relevant, make it human. That's how you run smart ads. That's how you grow with intention, and that's how you set yourself up for long-term success, not just for short-term spikes. So let us move forward in the next module, in which we are going to dive into the post purchase strategies, how to keep customers coming back, how to increase their lifetime value, and how to turn one time buyers into loyal fans. Because great traffic is only the beginning. What you do with it, and what really builds a brand.